What's up, everyone? Today I would like to talk to you about fear in today's video. And why would I like to talk about that? Because fear is one of those universals, you know? Fear is one of those things that we have all felt someone in our life, or we are going to feel. Sooner or later, we are going to face it if we haven't faced it yet. And the biggest problem with fear is that fear can control you. Fear can paralyze you. Fear can stop you from doing something that you want to do, from acting in a certain way that you had planned. And as fear is a kind of feeling, you should be able to control it, and you should be able to go against it, and you should be able to overcome it, so that you don't miss the opportunities that you have, and you do the things that you plan to do. Being controlled by fear is something that I don't wish for anyone. And it's something that if you ever experience, if you ever go through it, like fear controlling you and you not being able to act or do what you wanted to do, it's not that you're going to regret, but it's going to be such a strong experience, such a remarkable experience, that I believe you are going to do whatever you can to not allow that to happen again, to not allow fear to overcome you again, to win you over again, to control your actions and decisions. And it's very important to control fear and to win it, to win the battle against it, because there are so many good things that you can miss, that you can lose because of fear. If you are afraid of talking to someone you like, you can lose the opportunity of living a beautiful love story. If you are afraid of going for that very difficult job, you can lose an opportunity to get the job of your dreams, to get something that you really want to do. If you are passionate about something, but you are afraid of the future and you are afraid of the financial situation, and therefore you decided to choose a job just based on the income that this job is going to generate, instead of chasing your passion, something that you really like, but it's uncertain, it's not sure that it's going to give you enough money to make a living, and you lose the opportunity to go for it and to live off something that you are really passionate about, because you are afraid it's not going to work. Me, for example, now to give you a personal example, I don't like flying. I really don't like flying. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. And years ago, it was really like the worst experience I could go through, and I really didn't want to do it. But always, without exception, I fought that fear and I entered the plane, and it was horrible, of course, because I hated it and I still don't like it. But I never allowed fear to not let me enter in a plane. And I tell you more, the kind of work that I do makes me travel basically every week. Every week I am in a plane flying to a different city, to a different state, to a different country, to a different continent. And if I would let fear control me and get over me, take possession of me, I wouldn't be doing what I love. I would have to do something else. I would have to search for a different job. And I'm glad I managed to overcome that and to win the battle against fear. And I think you should do the same. And I tell you why. Life is made, basically, in my opinion, that's just my perspective, of experiences. And you should make out of your life a laboratory, just like I make out of mine a laboratory, of trying things, of experimenting things, of experiencing things, and seeing how you deal with those experiences, what do those experiences cause in you, how you digest them, what do you do with them. And fear can sometimes stop you or control you in a way that you do not experience, you do not try, you do not go through a lot of things that you could go through, that you wanted to go through, that you wished for, but was not able to because of fear. Another example that I would like to give you is setting life goals. For example, if you are afraid of setting very, very difficult goals for you because you think you're not going to be able to reach them, because you think you are not going to be capable, or because you just think you have to be realistic and you have to set achievable goals, I tell you something. If you set easy and achievable goals for you in life, what is going to happen is maybe you are going to reach them. Maybe you are going to achieve those goals, but maybe you are going to stay a little below those goals. Maybe you are not going to reach them because you are not going to think that they are so difficult, and maybe you are not going to make that much effort, or maybe you will even make effort, but you are not going to reach them. So you are going to stop here. What happens if you set very high goals for you, very, very high ones, very difficult ones to achieve? You have to make such an effort. You have to work hard so much to reach them. And maybe you are not going to reach them, but you are going to work so hard. You are going to make so much effort that maybe you get here. Not there, so high as the goal that you set, because it was so difficult, but maybe you get here. Do you see the difference? All this is the difference between setting very easy, achievable, and realistic goals and pushing yourself harder, demanding more from you, trying harder. And I think that this is also part of life. The fact that you demand a lot from yourself and that you are not afraid of setting very difficult goals. Not unachievable goals, but difficult ones, ones that you know you have to work very hard to achieve. By doing so, you are going to demand always more from yourself. You are always going to be very demanding with yourself, very detailist. You are always going to want to do more and to do better and to work harder to achieve what you want. You are not going to allow laziness to overcome you, to take care of you, to control you. You are always going to strive to work harder to reach your goals. So this is another example of fighting fear as well. Not being afraid of setting very difficult goals, of setting very high mountaintops to reach, because even if you don't reach them, you are going to reach a certain point, you are going to reach a certain altitude of this mountaintop that is probably going to be much better than if you had set very lower goals, if your standards were very low. I also want to tell you something about reaching goals, okay? Reaching goals, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion, is not the most important thing in life. And that's why I don't care when I set for myself very high goals, very difficult, almost unachievable, very difficult mountaintops. Because for me, is the process of going there, of trying to reach that mountaintop, of trying to reach that goal, what matters. The learning, the changes, the transformation during that process is what matters the most. There are certain goals that you really want to reach and that you really need to reach in order to accomplish whatever, or to get a job or something like this, no? But in many other cases, it's not a matter of reaching the goal. It's a matter of going through the process. And I give you an example. Let's suppose that you want to learn a language, no? You want to learn French. And people ask you, okay, what is your goal? What do you want by learning French? And you tell them, my goal with French is to be more proficient and to dominate the language better than Balzac, Flaubert, Hugo. And then people will look at you and they will laugh and they will say, this person is crazy. Of course, that will never happen. I mean, you're a foreigner, it's not your mother language, and even if it were, you're like, look at the people you're comparing yourself with, or you are setting as goals. You will never get there. Yeah, maybe you will never get there, maybe. But if you set that as goal and you seriously work hard to reach that goal, you are probably going to become much better and much more proficient in French than if you would just set for yourself a goal just like, yeah, I want to be able to communicate. I want to be able to get by, talk to people, maybe make a phone call or something like this. And yeah, if I'm able to communicate, I'm happy. If you set for yourself this goal, the level you are going to reach in your proficiency in the foreign language is way lower than if you set for yourself a goal like the one I've just mentioned. And it doesn't matter if you don't reach it. At least for me, it doesn't matter, and it has never mattered. What matters is I pushed myself so hard and I demanded so much from me that I reached levels, I reached altitudes, I reached goals that I never thought I would really be able to. And I think you should consider that, because that is also part of courage. Never let fear win you. Having fear, feeling afraid, feeling scared, it's part of our life. I believe that everyone has felt that or is going to feel. But being coward doesn't have to be part of your life. Losing the battle for fear doesn't have to be part of your life. Being brave, having courage are the things that you should be aiming for. Okay? See you on the next one.